Good morning, Alexander. My name is Gabe McGill, coming to you from the Alexander Broadcast Room. It's been a good school year so far. Part of this is our two amazing principals. Last month, Dakota checked in with Miss Lucas to learn about her. So for this episode, Jacob Reed interviewed Miss Rouse to see how she is adjusting to her new position. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Jacob Reed, here at Alexander Broadcasting. Today, I've interviewed Mrs. Rouse in her first quarter as being a high school principal. I've asked her a few questions about how her year is going so far. Now, the first question that I've asked her was it hard for her to switch from teacher to principal?
The change from teacher to principal was huge, especially for me. I went from teaching 8th grade. Before that, I taught high school for 10 years, and so then all of a sudden I was an elementary school principal. So not only did I have to adjust to becoming a principal, but I also was working with an age group that I had never worked with before.
She also talked to me about the differences between being an elementary and high school principal.
I love being a principal. There's good days and bad days, just like any other job you're ever going to have. But I also really loved being a teacher. And so there's a lot of parts about being in the classroom and working with students on a daily basis that I miss. But I don't know that I really like one more than the other. Let's see. Elementary kids are great because they treat you like you are a mini celebrity.
Now, this made me wonder, does she like being a principal more than a teacher?
I think when you're a teacher and you see the same group of students every day, you develop relationships with them. You get to see them grow from beginning of the year to the end of the year. I miss that a lot. You work with kids on a different level.
I can definitely see why she misses that. To take a break from school, I asked, what are some hobbies she has outside of school?
I love to run. I love to be outside. I love warm weather. So anytime it's warm and nice outside, I like to be outside.
This has been Jacob Reed reporting for Alexander Broadcasting. Signing out.
Wow, Miss Rouse is so cool. I've only talked to her once in the hall, and I kind of hope to keep it that way. But she should definitely be in one of our broadcast challenges. Let's take a look at the I Will Always Love You competition.
That's what happened.
Look at them all being goofy. Great job, Mrs. Lucas. Speaking of amazing teachers, Mrs. Braverman had an incredible experience when she traveled to Ghana last summer on a special trip for teachers. Let's take a look at what she did there.
Last summer, Alexander Intervention Specialist Mrs. Braverman had the opportunity to travel to Ghana to teach and educate young minds there and take home lessons she'll remember for the rest of her life.
An important part of the trip was the opportunity for teachers to experience Ghana firsthand. Its history, arts, culture, politics, and language. This experience allowed us to bring what we learned directly into our classroom through new curricular materials, cross-cultural teaching strategies, and lessons that make global connections more meaningful for our students. I left in the middle of June this past summer, and I spent 4 weeks in Ghana. We traveled to several key places: Accra, the capital city, Kumasi, the cultural heart of the Ashanti region, and Cape Coast, which has deep historical connections to the transatlantic slave trade. I went as part of the Ohio-Ghana Fulbright Hays Group project abroad. It was titled Transnational African and African Diaspora Identities. The goal was to explore Ghana's culture, history, language, and society through the lens of the transatlantic slave trade and to develop curriculum materials that help students better understand these global connections. My favorite part of the trip was getting to make connections, not only with fellow educators from Ohio, but also with the people of Ghana. I loved visiting museums and schools, learning from everyone I met, and seeing how education and culture are celebrated in different ways.
That fish looked delicious. Speaking of food, Julia Gamble did a bid on the OU concessions for a behind-the-scenes look at how Alexander students have been working to fundraise for travel abroad.
Students here at Alexander have an amazing opportunity to go to trips to foreign countries such as the one I took to France last year. There's an up-and-coming trip to Costa Rica in spring of 2026. There's also a combined trip of France and Spain to go in the spring of 2027. This is only possible for a lot of students thanks to the concession stands that OU offers. I interviewed Madam Stamper to learn more about the benefits that Stand 5 and Stand 4 have for the kids that go on these trips. The benefits of Stand 5 and Stand 4 go beyond the money raised. We learn how to work with others and get a feel for the work that we might encounter in the real world. Madam Stamper says these learning moments are just as important as the trips.
They learn a lot of different things. I think namely the main thing that they learn is about social interactions and how to deal with customers if they're running a register. If they're not running a register, they're really learning how to deal well under pressure and have a lot of stress on them and be able to work without getting overwhelmed and stressed out. Yeah.
This is a really wonderful opportunity for the kids who work the games. Most of the kids that go on these kinds of trips either work at Stand 5 at Peden Stadium or at Stand 4 in the Convo Center. This really helps relieve some of the financial stress put on families around here.
It really depends on how often the kids work or their parents or who they have working with them. I have had some students get their full trip paid for, but it's pretty rare.
Madam Stamper also said that the digital tips get deposited equally into the students' accounts if they worked the game. No one is required to leave a tip, but the generosity helps out a ton.
We get a percentage from the sales, so the more customers we have, the more people that buy from us will get more money, and it's supporting a great cause and some great kiddos. So
you can find Stand 5 located between sections 120 and 121. This is right underneath the Marching 110. You can find Stand 4 on the south side of the lobby in the Convo Center. Merci, madam, for telling me how important concession stands really are for us. Come visit Stand 5 on Tuesday, November 18th at Peden Stadium for the final football game. Also visit Stand 4 at the Convo on November 19th and more upcoming games.
Be sure to stop by during the next home football game on the 11th or the basketball game on the 15th. Now, for our last tidbit of humor, on to pumpkin bowling. Well, that was funny. Good night, Alexander. I'm Gabe McGill, signing off.
I'm on the pursuit of happiness, and I know everything that shine ain't always gonna